Yeah, it seemed that I didn't understand a thing about hiking. Far be it from me. Do nothing, just stay seated, try to figure out what Alyssa and Lena are arguing about. I want to try and figure this thing out. I want to figure this bitch out. Hold on. Another cracker. That was good. Nice cracker. Only Lena and Alyssa stood out among all this splendor. Well, of course, it was quite natural for Alyssa to be arguing with someone like that. But hearing Lena talk in a raised voice, I came closer silently, trying to understand what was going on. No, you listen to me. Think whatever you want. I've said everything. It looked serious. I tried as hard as I could not to attract any attention, and look like I'm standing there with no intention of listening in on them. Wow. There's something to think about. Everything is as clear as day. Oh, wait. I think I fucked that up. Oh, yeah, there's nothing to think about. I'm sorry. There's nothing to think about. Everything is clear as day. Don't try to wind me around your little finger like that. I know you too well. Why, of course you know everything. Then why won't you tell him yourself? Then I was getting angry. That alone was really weird, even considering that I didn't know. No. I didn't know what they were arguing about. That is none of your business, Alyssa snorted, turning around, and her eyes met mine. A second later, Lena gave me a look as well. The girls stood there in confusion for some time. Oh God, were they talking about me? Oh my gosh. You're eavesdropping? Me? Oh, no. I was just, passing by. I put on the best smile I had, but it didn't seem to help much. By the way, today he was peeping at me. Alyssa gave a malicious smile. Lena looked at me questioningly. First of all, why would you believe this devious fox's stories? I didn't peep. You know quite well that it was an accident. Oleana should be the one to blame. Sure it was. Tell that to the cops. It seems like my excuse was not working. Did you like my boobs? A shiver ran up my spine. Is that true? Lena looked at me imploringly. Well, you see, it was an accident. I didn't see anything there. You didn't? Well, I can show you again. Are you offering, bitch? Are you offering? Alyssa cried in anger. I didn't know what to say. You see, I told you. No. Lena started to mumble, and rushed away a moment later. Wait, what happened? I shouted after her. You see what you did? That girl's all upset now. Excuse me, bitch? She gave a spiteful smile. First of all, it wasn't me who upset her. Second, I don't have any idea what you two were arguing about. I was running out of patience. Why should I tell you? It seems like she thought about that our talk was over and was about to leave. I grabbed her hand abruptly. Alyssa glanced at me in fear but didn't say anything. I was angry at that moment. Really angry. First, I was wildly enraged that Lena was upset because of me, even though I was actually kind of guilty. Second, I was enraged by Alyssa's insolence. Third, I was so tired that I was about to lose my temper at the smallest thing. Happy now? I hissed, pointing to the darkness where Lena had run off. You only seem to have the guts to bomb memorials and hurt innocent girls. She looked frightened, sad, and confused at the same time. She herself could hurt anyone. You just don't know her. The only truth here is that I don't know her too well, but I'm absolutely positive that she wouldn't hurt anyone. That's your job. We stood in silence for some time. I held Alyssa's hand and didn't know what to do next. The solution dawned upon me all by itself. You have to go apologize. Why the hell should I? Alyssa tried to act as arrogant as always, but it wasn't going to work this time. because I said so. I refused to hear any objections and dragged her to the side of the bonfire. Olga Dmitrovna, I'm sorry, we have some urgent business to deal with, so we have to leave early. The guidance officer tried to object, but I didn't listen, and headed after Lena, pulling The guidance officer tried to object, but I didn't listen, and headed after Lena, pulling Alyssa along with me. After some time, I released her hand. Any objections? All the pride and arrogance had left Alyssa's face long ago. If you want me to come with you, I will, but I have nothing to apologize for. I told her the truth. We'll see about that, then. I cut her short. We had been walking in silence until we entered the camp. We came to the square, and I asked Alyssa, where do we go next? How should I know? And who said they know Lena well? Was it me? Alyssa hesitated. Well, she could be at the island. She often goes there when she wants to be alone. Excellent. We headed to the pier. Get in the boat, Strawberry. Night came down in the camp while I searched for patties and pottered around with the ropes. One boat was actually missing. Okay, today's your lucky day. You get to do several killer exercises that will build up your biceps, triceps, and other arm muscles, I said sarcastically. Are you serious? Alyssa cast a fearful glance at me. Well, perhaps that was a little too rough, even for her. Alright, I won't make you row, of course. That hardly sounded confident. Swinging the paddles appeared to be much harder this time. Well, that's not surprising, considering that today I must have already filled my annual rowing quota. I stopped in the middle of the river to catch my breath. The camp was covered by night. A trivial and ordinary night. It's one of those nights when the dark sky, stars, and crescent moon don't make you feel anything special, and chirping crickets and twittering birds sound like they are doing a dull routine job rather than performing an otherwise exciting nocturne. I was staring into the darkness, trying to make out the shadowy island. How did you get to know her? Alyssa shivered a little. We grew up together, she answered slowly after some hesitation. And ended up at the same pioneer camp. What a fabulous coincidence. All these questions, mysteries, and fears that had been so well hidden so far suddenly spawned in my head. Damn, I could just throw her out of the boat and drown her right here and now. I can demand answers. Although, it could be dangerous unless I'm sure that I know what I'm doing. Still, I thought that this time I was playing with the white pieces so I could make the first move, and not just parry the blows of the opponent. So, what kind of camp is this? Alyssa stared at me blankly. Where are we? Why am I here? She kept silent. Answer me! I shouted. Hey, what's wrong with you? If you want me to apologize to Lena, I will. That's when I realized how stupid I was acting, to say the least. She could simply be uninvolved in all that stuff. And what's more, one can't lie that convincingly. Alyssa's fearful expression was yet another reason to believe her. Sorry. That was all I was able to say at the moment. Yet I wanted to keep my advantage. The last few meters was really rough. Exhausted, I got out of the boat and lay on the cold ground. Alyssa stood nearby, staring at me. I thought she was about to goad me or utter some barbed witticism, but since she remained silent, I assumed she was still shocked or something. Even though it was rather dark here, it would be easier to hide in my old flat than on this tiny island. Furthermore, Lena must have already heard us as we were crossing the river, so by now it's already too late to ask Alyssa any more questions, even though I still had some. Listen. I looked at her, but saw nothing. It was a dark night and I didn't have cat's eyes. Well, when you find Lena, you're gonna tell her you never wanted to hurt her feelings and everything that happened in the morning was nothing but a misunderstanding, okay? My voice didn't sound as confident as it did a couple of minutes ago, but confident enough. Although Alyssa said nothing, it was clear by the look on her face that she agreed. I stood up and went off to find Lena. Her boat was tied to a snag on the far side of the island. That's very clever of her. One wouldn't see the boat from that far, I mumbled. Well, that means she's somewhere in the trees. Let's find her. I headed into the grove, but Alyssa stood still. What's up? I thought we'd discussed everything already. It's not that. It's just that it's dark in there. Ugh. I had to strain my eyes to make out her face. The grove is smaller than my grandmother's daisy garden. What is there to be afraid of? Alyssa didn't answer. If you want to know what I'm thinking, I would gladly just leave you here. I never know what trick you're up to. Well, she came very close to me. Let's go like this. She took my hand. Alright. I hadn't expected this outcome. Why do I still have no face? Semyon, why do you have no face? Like, you don't have eyes. You're kind of blank, but very buff. Okay. My cheeks turned red and hot, my breath was taken away, and I could barely say anything. The whole situation didn't favor conversation, which was probably for the best, since I doubt I would be able to say anything smart. Oh, Semyon. Oh. Slowly we headed into the grove. In a couple of moments I regained some control of myself. Come on, there's really nothing to be afraid of. Came here during the day, gathering some strawberries, no big deal, just a normal birch grove. It's really nice here during the day. I added after a short pause. Alyssa didn't look at me. She was staring somewhere into the distance. Well, it's up to you after all. A few moments later she pointed somewhere in front of us. There she is. I peered into darkness but could barely see anything. Oh, honey. When we came closer we saw Lena sitting beside a tree. She was crying. Why have you come here? She asked tearfully. And you? She looked at Alyssa but didn't finish the sentence. At that moment, Alyssa released my hand. Well, you see, I just wanted to apologize for being somewhat harsh and rude. Alyssa interrupted me. Her voice had regained that usual arrogance of hers. Maybe it's because she didn't want to look weak in front of Lena. What a perfect apology. Not walking the walk, are you? How clever of you to insist that I'm doing a bad thing and to do that thing yourself. Lena switched to shouting uncontrollably, which I failed to execute, but it's okay. You got it all wrong. I got what I've seen. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I get what I've seen. You see, girls, you're arguing again, and I seem to be somehow involved in all that, but I don't understand a thing. Explain it to him, Lena said to Alyssa with a grin. There's nothing to explain. Well, maybe you will let me have a try then? Whatever. She crossed her arms over her chest and turned away. Well then, Semyon, she blamed me for pursuing you. For a minute, there was a complete silence. Lena didn't look like explaining any further, and as for me, I stood still trying to assemble the scattered pieces of the puzzle into a whole. What do you mean, even though it's so clearly obvious what she means? Exactly what I said. It's not like that. That's not what I meant, interrupted Alyssa. Of course. You've always been like this. Lena burst into tears again. Wait, how come? So, Lena likes me? Dun dun dun! And you, what about you? You're trying to convince me that it's all wrong while you're holding his hand. What? So Alyssa likes me too? Oh my gosh, these are two things that were not so blatantly obvious the entire game. Ah, come on, Alyssa actually liking someone? This can't be happening. It was dark in here and it's so much like you. Always so arrogant, always trying to control others. But when it comes to yourself, Alyssa didn't answer. I really felt like I had to say something to defuse the situation. Hey, wait. Perhaps we just got it all wrong. This has nothing to do with you. It does. Actually. Alyssa's voice was oddly distant. That's why their hair is done similar. Okay. Judging by the conversation, this has everything to do with me. Yes, it does. Ask her what she thinks of you, and why she told me not to go after you. I don't think Lena was actually going after me. I'm telling you once again, you heard enough of her... I'm sorry. Okay. We heard enough of your story already. Lena shot up and ran away into the darkness. I stood nailed to the spot, not sure what to do next. If I followed Lena now, what would I say when I found her? After all, I don't even understand what this is all about. Oh my gosh! It's My cluelessness and silly attempts to console her would only upset her more, as I am obviously really stupid. Guess we better let her be alone for some time. That didn't sound very confident. Whatever. Without another word, Alyssa headed back to the boat. Oh, honey.